we basically offer you in a few clicks the opportunity to send a shareable link to invite all those people to give you their cash as an investment. And of course, when you start to hire employee, you want to have the same easiness when it comes to offering them stock option, restricted stock unit, restricted token unit, like anything related to the employee is also fully integrated.
So how are we going to work? So you have private companies that are owned by you, me, whatever. And then you have public companies that essentially have opened, gone through an IPO, and now has a broad path where anybody can go in and buy stock on the New York Stock Exchange or NASDAQ. So how will what you're doing differentiate itself from the public markets if anybody could just send a link and someone could just buy stock in your company or buy pieces of it?
Yeah, thank you for positioning where we are, because indeed the market today is separated between the public market and the private market. And maybe it's worth spending a bit of time on the genesis of all this, which is the crisis paper in the 70s, where basically, at that time, your share were paper-based. And people started to have a lot of issue to process that because there were so many papers. That's what we call the paper crisis. And multiple reports were written to study and to get a good overview of the capital market at that time. And that's when, on the public side, they decided to go with the DTCC as we know it today, which is a way to operate with a reconciliation layer and this clearinghouse that does the job of making sure of who owns what and when. So you have a public market that is extremely well structured, but on the private market, nothing was done. And so it was a mess until 2010, basically, when some software as a service providers started to work to offer a better solution than just the Excel and spreadsheet from the law firms. And it started with companies like eShares and all the captable vendors. But the reality is that the day they started to operate, they created a new intermediary that locked completely the shareholders, the issuer, into their own databases. This is where I think today we get a strong opportunity to offer to the market a much better play